Hey there, Michael James. Welcome to my mix room. Tonight we're going to be talking about analog versus digital summing. Some people say there's no difference and it's not worth spending the money to go analog. To me, it makes all the difference in the world, especially in a highly competitive game of inches. And rather than talk about the usual things that get thrown around, like, better spatial imaging, phantom center, sparkle, clarity, depth of field, all that stuff. I'm not going to mention those words at all. I'm just going to make the proof in the pudding. So I put up this mix. I did the same mix, both summed through multiple outputs, basically 32 channels of outputs versus just 2 channels of outputs, 32 in the analog domain or 2 inside the box. Because if you're summing digitally inside the box, whether through a plugin, emulation, or whatever, you're still only getting 2 converters to spread the load, the entire workload of a mix. And here we're going to be showing you what that sounds like, and it sounds good. And then we're going to show you what happens if you spread it across like 32 digital to analog converters and sum them in the analog domain. Here's some of the tools that we use to do analog summing. This is one example of a summing mixer. This particular one is 16 in by 2 out. It's Dangerous Music. Great one, my favorite one. And each of the inputs on here, the 16 inputs, take different instruments, which mean different, one analog converter per instrument. And let's go over that way and take a look at this rack of some more summing mixers and converters. Once again, Dangerous Music, some of my favorite stuff. Down here, there are another 48 channels, so that makes a total of 64 channels of inputs, analog inputs. These are all digital to analog outputs, converters. Now, you can see like up here, well, maybe you can't see, but I'll tell you that right up here, we have like 8 channels right there of conversion on this particular one. And if you were inside the box, if you're mixing inside Pro Tools, Cubase, Logic, whatever, you're just going to see 2 of these lights lit up. Of course, there are 0 lit up right now because I'm not playing music. But when those 2, that's all you would get. You would just get 2, left and right. But if you're outputting, let's say 64 channels of instruments, now each converter doesn't have to convert half of your mix. It just converts a kick drum, a snare drum, a bass, a vocal, overhead microphones, guitars, harpsichord, clavinet, saxophone, trumpet, whatever, background vocal, Led Zeppelin Live, Freddie Mercury, whatever you want, reading the phone book. All these things, each one gets its own converter, then you get more resolution. So right here we're at, right before the guitar solo in a song called Let's Connect. And we're going to hear the word forever, and then it goes into the solo. And, it'll sound good, and then I'll explain to you what's going to happen when you hear the analog version, and then we'll go back to the digital so you can hear it go from good to like, oh, it just got bigger and cooler, back down to, oh, wait, that's kind of pinched sounding. I thought it was good, but now that I hear the difference, it's pinched. And then we'll go back to the analog again. It's so much more three-dimensional. Wear headphones. Put on some headphones if you don't believe me. It just goes, you get this bass and you get this sort of excitement, and if you close your eyes, you can picture the spaces between the different players. Analog. What you should have heard there, and you can rewind this and check it out yourself again if you missed it when it went past, was that the digital basically had like a very limited depth of field. So from the side, it would be like, here's the front of the stage, here's the back. And, things were sort of cloudy with their panorama. And then when you went to the analog thing, the depth of field went front to back, right? And everything was discretely in its stereo panorama. The reason for that, I suspect, and according to the laws of physics, I suppose, is that with the inside the box, we're going through two channels, just left and right. We're summing everything. All this math is happening just to a left channel and a right channel digital to analog converter for us to hear. When we are using the outside the box analog summing and we have more channels of conversion, whether it 8 16, 32, 64, 128, you pick your number according to your budget and your taste, you get each of those converters focusing on one single thing, like the vocal or the bass or the kick drum or whatever. As a matter of fact, I'm going to play that section just so now you can listen to the bass and listen to the kick drum and listen to that little bit of vocal. We're just going to play one or two measures here. And yeah, you're going to hear it analog. It's going to sound great. When I go digital, it's just not going to be as cool. So here's analog. So to me, that was a pretty cool thing. Let's go to one more section of the tune. Let's go to the verse. Some part in the verse where, you'll hear more of an open arrangement and then it starts to get big and, you'll just hear the analogness of it. I'm not adding color, the analog. All that coloration that I did is still in this digital mix. Very careful to keep the methodology the same. So really, the only thing that we're hearing is whether I'm spitting out 2 channels of converter or 32 channels. So check this out right here. Now we're going to hear the digital, where it won't sound as much depth of field. So what I'm hearing again is that, everything just gets sort of pinched. I mean, it sounds great. Like if I don't tell you which one I'm playing, blah, 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 blah. I'm playing digital right now. It's going to sound great. The digital is going to sound great. Here you go. And now when I play analog, check this out. There I go again. This is why I should be fired from this job. On that note, I should probably sign off, something like that, because it's getting late and I think I've proven my point. And if I haven't, go make your own decisions. Michael James signing off. Catch you next time.